Awesome.
And with a minute remaining before the start of this game, we are getting ready for the breaking news up against Geelong Roller Derby.
Our lovely hosts for today.
Exactly. I am Judy Bench.
And I'm Sparks.
So we will quickly rattle through the roster that we've only just been handed.
All right. And for breaking news, we have 174 Nuclear Force Out, 3 Nels Bells, 3 Not Your Darling, 433 Temper Tantrum, 45 Jack Rabbit, 470 Bleeder of the Pack, 505 Darth Evader, 78 Vivian Oblivion, 81 Detention, 818 Dolly, 83 Beasting, 96 Raw Power.
And skating in white for Geelong, we have 1-1 Avalanche, 1-3 Bunny, 2 Dakota Blocker, 2-3 Hale Skating, 238 Beasting. We've got the Battle of the Beastings.
We have
3-1 Pancakes, 4-4 Cyclone, 4-8 Hell's Bells, 5-1 Melonhead, 5-2 Slane, Hale, 5-7 Rock, 6-2 Eve I Knievel, and 8-3 Jackie over 9-9 Morbid Murder.
Oh, I like that. And we have
That's Beasting.
Geelong's Beasting jumping out for a lead.
And we have Dolly in the black as the jammer for breaking news.
And we have call-outs for both Beastings.
We do?
Well, Beasting for Geelong was over at the Worlds.
API Fury.
API Fury, which was in the Men's World Roller Derby Championships, which were just a couple of weeks ago in Orleans, France. And Beasting for News, this is their debut game.
Oh my God. Talk about range of experience here.
Exactly. This is their debut game, which is always exciting.
The other thing I just noticed is despite Geelong's Beasting picking up the lead, he's actually scored one more point than they did in that jam. So Dolly managed to pick up 3 points to Beastings too.
Well,
we have a cycler for Geelong.
A bit of jammer on jammer there happening.
And that, I believe, is Tempe Tantrum, who is lead.
Right, they are so close on each other.
Cyclone does like a little bit of jammer on jammer.
So we also have, this is a really big day for breaking news.
It is?
Yes, because we not only have a Beasting, we have Killer Kinsella, who is doing their debut game, Not Your Darling News, which is debut game, and we have a Dr. Crusher, who is returning to Derby, and this is their first game with News, with Dr. Crusher. So, they're not playing today, but it was on my shout-out sheet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty big shout-out for one team for one game.
Exactly. And
so, in the people that we have keeping us nice and safe are Scare Bear, Frankenherder, Scare Bear. Oh, that was in there twice. Lucky, Evil Offspring, Al, Leo Slayer, Griff, Zap, Lady Killerton, OG, Candy Striper, Disaster Chief, Slender Jam, Suffocate, Maureen, Killer Curls, Ali, and Zarantula.
And I'm just going to go back to the Men's World Cup and mention Candy Striper, only Australian official.
I know, that was pretty big.
Watching games, I'm going, oh my God, I know them.
Yeah, so I was doing that. I think as a state, we were we punched above our weight because not only did we have Beasting for API, we had May from Kingston City with API, we had Crush from Kingston City with Schmear Campaign.
Yeah.
And we also had some other Kingston players playing on the Wizards. Yeah. They had 3 other players playing on the Wizards.
And then we have people such as Slender Jam.
Exactly. Slender Jam. And we have Bonnie doing the stats.
Exactly. So, yeah, Victoria really does.
And that's Nels Bell out for the lead. Yeah.
Victoria really does have a very big derby culture.
Yes. You know, it was really impressive to look at the rosters and know how many started their derby careers at Statewide Stampede.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of people like Leisuretime, how many give back to the Derby community?
Exactly.
Repping,
By repping, and we were saying in the debate, like the first game this morning when I was with Neon Tigers, we were saying how so many of our skaters do so much more. We have skaters that will bench pickup teams. They ref, they coach. We have KTKO who mentors and runs juniors.
Generally speaking, if there is something derby going on and Victorian people can be involved, they're involved.
Oh, yeah. All right. So who do we have now?
Dolly and Beasting.
Dolly and Beasting. And Dolly got out for lead jammer. So
I'm just going to cut in here. What I do like about this matchup between the jammers is both of these skaters are very long-term Statewide Stampede representatives. They have been around in the game cycle for Statewide Stampede pretty much since day dot. So I like getting to see them coming back and
yes,
up against each other and everything like that. So it's just nice seeing.
I think, and we get used to, because we have such a round robin, and like not so much this year, but other years, you're seeing each other every month and you're seeing the progression. Which, and I love it in the finals when the Bodcons debut.
Yeah.
Like they've worked hard all season and then they get that debut. And we have Temper Tantrum with lead for NeWs.
Up against Cyclo, and let's face it, Cyclo just likes weaving between people. Anytime on skate is a good time for Cyclo.
Exactly.
What I do like about those two is you can see the difference in how they learn how to skate, because Temper Tantrum, very much the whole figure skating kind of very precise movements, and Cyclo's just like, yeah, let's gun it.
Yeah, yeah, I can relate to that, because sort of my prior derby, my skating was way back when, but was in the artistic figure skating sort of realm, and it's a muscle memory. It's hard to get rid of. Right, so we have Dell's Bells out for lead, and the news pack has been holding up Beasting quite well, and the pivot for news. So, yes, we are so lucky to have this tournament. Not a lot of other states have such a significantly long-term tournament. We generally have, we have 5 rounds, and then we have semis and finals. So that's 7 hit-outs.
7 regular games.
And that's not including external tournaments and things like that.
Home games or anything like that. Yeah. I did notice there was a little bit of lovely offense in that last jam by another debut skater, Hypodermic.
Oh, yes. Our favourite Hypodermic, and I'm saying favourite because he really... Sorry. Hypodermic has, if there's anything to be done in Derby, has done it, from skating officially to NSOing to commentating to debuting today.
Exactly. They basically are a representative of what the Victorian roller derby community kind of is.
Oh, yes.
Just something needs to be done. I'm putting my hand up and I'm going to do it.
And we see them at every tournament, whether it be statewide, whether it be ECC, whether it'll be home teams. They are always, and they're a great mentor.
I'm just having a little bit of a look see, because that looked like there was a little bit of a lineup issue. Late penalty had been assigned, and too many skaters for the other team were out there because they didn't realise there was 2 in the penalty box. So we currently have not quite a micro pack, but it is a pretty small pack. We've got 2 out there on track for NeWs and 3 for Geelong.
So, yes, no, I must admit, Vic has been a fantastic mentor. Always happy to help someone starting out, whether it What in every way. All right, so who have we got? Cyclone has jumped out for a lead and is being chased down by Temper Tantrum.
And out there as the micro pack 4 is Viv and leader of the pack, so Vivian and William.
Doing a great job.
Seriously, the two of them, very experienced skaters, long-term skaters. So, we're going to put two people out there to block. Good choice.
Exactly.
So Viv's another one of those basically being around since Statewide Stampede started.
And although we celebrated our 10th birthday last year, it's actually been around for 12 years because we had those 2 years where we didn't get to play.
Exactly.
So that's a long commitment to a sport and to the development of a sport.
We have Nels Bells picking up lead there and a beasting. Being held by, I believe, Jack Rabbit going by both shots.
Yep.
It's also the battle of the fancy sports, so Jack Rabbit and Beasting always having amazing shorts to go
Yes.
with the uniforms.
Oh, yes. And speaking of shorts, go and see Shred Bundy. They've got a stall so neurodivergent, and
I do love this.
they have some amazing hot pants and skirts in all sorts of sparkly colours. And look, let's face it, we're here in Derby. If it sparkles, we like it.
So current scores, 27 to NeWs, 9 to Geelong. We have Dolly and a Cyclone lining up as our jammers, and we have a late official timeout.
All right. Oh, while we're in the timeout, I might give a thank you to a couple of people. I'd like to thank the team at Deadly Sports First Aid, who provide us with amazing care if we need them. They're a fantastic supporter of roller derby and present at every statewide stampede major tournament that we do in Victoria. And we always hope that they either get lots of craft done or get really, really bored, because that means we haven't needed them.
Exactly.
And I'd also like to thank Australian Sports Connection.
We have an official review. I'm going to run in and have a listen.
Run. So the wonderful Jen behind me, who brought us this streaming ability with all the equipment, etc. Jen puts a lot of time in and would have been here at the crack of dawn this morning. Also, we have some amazing vendors in our midst today. Feel free to go and spend some money and support them. Most of them, if not all, have a connection to Derby through family, through friends, and so we like to support them as they support us. We also would like to thank the Leisuretime Sports Precinct for allowing us to play our game here today. We take over the venue, tape down the track, and we are so grateful for that. We also have our amazing hosts for today, who are Geelong Roller Derby, and tomorrow we will be having Kingston City Rollers as our host, but in the same venue. This year's statewide stampede has been structured a little differently in that we had a doubleheader last month in Geelong. Sorry, not in Geelong, in Bendigo. And then we've got the doubleheader here in Geelong. Then King's birthday weekend, we will all be playing together again, but this time it will be in Adelaide at the Great Southern Slam, which is a tournament that is the largest in the Southern Hemisphere and is run every 2 years. So that will be a big deal. And then the weekend after that, if you didn't have enough derby, we will be having the Oceania Regional Finals for the Woofter World Championships later on this year. That will be down here at Leisuretime Sports. 2 days of the top skaters in Oceania fighting for 2 places to represent Oceania in the Woofter World Championships. So a lot of derby. And that is partly why we have double headers, because we just would have run out of time otherwise. And we would then we go back to the single rounds in July. So, but there is plenty of derby, plenty of ways to be involved. Um, a lot of teams will have merch. If you look on the socials, if you see a team here today you like, and you look on their socials or their team or their actual websites, a lot of teams will have merch that you can purchase. And merch purchases are a way of helping keep the costs affordable as much as possible and go directly back into each team for development, track hire, etc. Now, I'm not sure what this official review has been called on, and I know my co-commentator Judy is getting me all the goss, and then I will be able to find out what's happened. But it's a lovely day down here at Geelong at the Leisuretime Sports Precinct in Norlane. We still have, this is game 3 of 5, so we still have 2 more games after this. And then tomorrow we are back for another 5 games. So it is pretty incredible. All right, my co-host is coming with all the gossip, and I will let her tell you all about it. Well, I find out all about it, which will be good.
So in a similar call to last game, that was a situation where the refs actually had to do a lot of talking about who had position and who had time to be able to do things. So it was NeWs wanted to get a high block penalty assigned to Hypodermic of Geelong. But because a lot of people were in position to have their eyes on it, it was deemed that they couldn't work out time in regards to whether or not there was time to remove the arm from the position, or if Hypodermic was actually in an established position versus the jab. So in this situation, because it was inconclusive, no penalty was deemed as being the correct call. So
and I think that's one thing to notice with some of our skaters who are very tall, that line between a high block and I'm just so much taller than you can be very blurry.
Exactly. So yeah, it's one of the reasons why we do have so many officials in roller derby, because with this type of game, you cannot actually see everybody to which positions are in the correct way and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, we need to have multiple eyes on any issue, because then if it does get called as an official review, and there's people who are like, oh yeah, I was in a better position, I had line of sight, this is the correct call or the incorrect call.
And that's why we have skaters both out of the track and inside the track, because what they see very different things as well.
And it's just simple things like line of sight for where they are in a position. There's so many skates out there that it is hard to actually work out, was that skate actually that person's? Or
exactly.
Was that limb actually that person's?
That's where sometimes, I mean, we all love fancy stuff, and sometimes having something that's very distinguishable makes it easy to see when you do something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know,
on the flip side, it also means that you are memorable and get the MVPs.
Well, this is true. This is true. You know, and then we see everything that we like, and I go, yes, I want to know where you got those.
So we have, again, been sitting up there for Geelong. We have Nels Bells, once again, for NeWs.
And Nels Bells has dropped. Bit of a score check here. We have NeWs out on 35 and Geelong on 9.
However, this is a power jam for B-Stick. Nels actually being called for a butt trap.
And it'll be a full jam because Nels Bells...
They weren't. They cut the track before lead had been assigned. So in this situation, lead actually got awarded to B-Stick.
Awesome.
So in situations where the penalty happened before lead was assigned, they can actually rescind lead from them and give it to the
which is like a, it's like a gift in some ways.
But it's also one of those situations where if you're the kind of jammer who removes your staff straight away upon hearing the whistle being signed, you've now deemed yourself unable to get lead either.
Oh.
So it's one of those ones where it's like, yes, you want to do that whole quick star stash try and divide attention, but sometimes it works against you. So with a skater like Beastin, there was no way that helmet cover was coming off that early.
But I have seen it happen in a few.
And the whole reason I say, Beastin is the kind of person who would do that is because with such experience as a jammer, they're going to keep fighting and try and get through as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Before they go for that star pass situation. A little bit of confusion from the benches as to what direction to give to their skaters.
That was a handy 12 points there for Geelong to bring them up to 21.
Very nicely timed call though, because neither jammer was at risk of giving away points at that stage. For Geelong, definitely the 12 points to 0, helping to bring them back to a nice close score.
I think
14 points.
People look at our scoreline sometimes, and it looks like we've got
the official timeout.
They look at our scorelines and go, wow, that must have been so one-sided, but it's so not. And, people say an hour is, 2 minutes in Derby is a long time.
And a lot can happen in 2 minutes.
The game's in Orleans.
Well, I mean, even like our junior world, like, I don't know for certain, but I have heard the rumour that there was a Team US jammer who scored like 2 points in a jam.
Oh my God.
Didn't see the game, but, we saw in the Men's World Cup 34 points being picked up easily. And saying easily, I'm just saying that in terms of...
They were comfortably achieved.
You sometimes need to shift your focus from, oh God, I've got to stop this person, to I've got to do everything to get ours out.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to sacrifice the points to get your jammer out, because the only way you were going to stop that bleed is to get your jammer out.
Exactly. And I was watching some of the games, and they were literally coming down to the last 2 seconds.
The Wizards of Oz almost gave me a heart attack.
Oh, yes.
In that,
77, 78.
Exactly.
Argentina, it was Argentina, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. That was just like, oh my God.
So, it's, as you were saying, large schools does not actually show how much effort the team puts into things.
Okay, and we had Dolly leaping out for NeWs. And Cyclo will be jamming for Geelong.
Lovely footwork on the inside there from Dolly, making sure that she remained in track and upright while managing to step on past the blockers there.
And picking up a handy 4 points
Exactly.
at the same time. So we are just over 15 minutes left in this first half. And we have our amazing people just making running track repairs. It's amazing. The tape either sticks too well or not enough.
Oh, always. We're in...
That allows us to have a fairly flexible, in that, we can find the surface, we can play.
Yeah. It's just finding the surface.
Yeah.
So this stadium is actually going to be the home of the Oceania Regionals at the end of June that South Sea are hosting.
They are. So South Sea are hosting, and that's going to come about a week or 2 weeks.
2 weeks, I believe.
2 weeks after Southern Slam.
Yep.
And having a look at the Southern Slam Div 1 list, it literally is a selections before the selections in some ways.
It's going to be a very different Great Southern Slam Division 1 representation, because for one, VRDL is not going to be in Div 1 this year because they're not sending their team across for TGSS. They are focusing on regionals.
Oh, now that will be interesting.
So this is, I believe, the first year that they will not win that since they've basically held the position. But also, I can understand okay, we're going to sacrifice TGSS because this is such a big tournament to focus on. So
Adelaide, South Korea, it's a hard choice.
So it's basically a very interesting group in the Div 1. There's only 6 teams, sorry, playing in Division 1 at TGSS. And then the top 8 teams from
Australia and New Zealand
will be then playing at regionals.
And it's an honour to be able to host the Oceanify selections. Last time TGSS was the region.
Exactly. I'm just going to quickly interject here by saying Avalanche picking up lead there from Geelong.
Just flew out of the park.
That was a lead that they needed because they NeWs have been steadily scoring. So picking up lead and picking up points, keeping them scoreless, beautiful.
Exactly. Yes.
Keeping the game nice and tight.
And that's what we want.
We want it close, but not too close to cause heart attacks.
Well, this is true. Yes, I must admit, I'm getting excited for TGSS because it's going to be my first one.
I absolutely love TGSS, so I am very excited. I get to not only bench coach for the Southeast Alliance, but also commentate at TGSS. It is great fun, and then I get to turn around 2 weeks later and then
do it all again. Do it all again.
The Oceania.
Well, I was going to go to the last TGSS, and I was like, all planned. I had commentary games. Unfortunately, my mum needed surgery, and she's like, go. And I'm like, do you think I'd be able to concentrate? So
it's always a pace.
She's coming with me when we go to Adelaide this time. So, all good things come to those who wait. And, yes.
That's a 5-4 jam there.
So, and when I've had my rosters and compared the schedules, I'm getting to call the Div 2 Grand Final. How exciting is that?
TGSS is amazing just because you get to see so many teams we don't get to see. But we really should focus a little bit more on this game.
Well, yeah.
It is a close game, and these skaters are doing phenomenal.
And we just have Dolly, who has jumped out for the lead.
Cyclo not far behind.
Oh, and very tense on that inside line around.
That was very much a case of I think Dolly was going to call it, but then realised Cyclo had actually passed them, so Dolly wasn't going to give up that easily, and hitting the pack for time 2.
And then Cyclos. All right. So that was a handy 8-point jam for NeWs and 4 points for Geelong.
That was right at the end there. Looking a little bit intense from the. It was NeWs blocking on Cyclo. It's like this will like hang on a second. What's that kind of thing?
All right. And so we have an official timeout now. Frank's just called an official timeout.
I believe that was points are late to go up because a couple of refs were talking about it. So
okay.
Frank was just making sure everything was in order. And it also looks like we have a late penalty being assigned to the pivot for Geelong, Hale State. And again, this is where having people of various levels of experience in different roles officiating and reffing, like, you know, off skates officiating and on skates officiating, it allows people to learn, but it also allows people who are experienced to go, hang on, something's not quite right here. I'm going to call this as a timeout. Let's get this fixed up.
Yeah. So we have a temper tantrum out in lead for NeWs, being chased down by Avalanche.
Alan had beautiful,
that was a great attempt.
little bit of a, not quite a recycle, but, you know, we'll fall into the front to try and stop. But Tempe's hand just too good at that stage. They were in the right time, right position, right speed, getting on past. Avalanche.
It's like a bowling game at the moment. The players just going whoosh, whoosh.
Just noticed that the penalty box has emptied out. All speeders back on track at the stage. For a game that has so many debut skaters, there is a lot going on.
There is,
And
and
it doesn't look like
high quality.
Anyone's been overwhelmed by this whole, like,
No.
high quality game.
And I think this is where the ModCon, the ModCon opportunities that statewide run, which is very unusual because a lot of other states really don't run ModCon games at all. That, you know, before skaters get to debuting, they cut their teeth in ModCon.
Exactly.
And it's like, generally we would find a game like this at the end of a year's Stampede because they've done all the work.
But yeah, it's one of those situations where, yes, there is a big difference between mod to full. But if you go from, like, low contact straight into full, you're just going to be overwhelmed so much. So yeah, having that mod step, it's like, okay, we're not quite full contact, we're not quite full speed, but we have enough contact that we know that we can take that hit and be safe.
And to give that hit and be safe as well. And as I was saying, normally at the end of a season of statewide, we get this absolute flood of debuting skaters, which is so exciting because, you know, like, because they're the games that you can't, like, we practice at scrims and things like that, but you can't get game experience without actually being on track.
And for teams like Breaking News, in this example, you know, they don't get a chance to play with each other and train with each other at any other time than, say, Statewide Stampede.
And this is like with C, the new alliance there, and you've got 2 established clubs and a newly formed club.
Exactly.
All combining. And TRV, who are Team Travel Regional Victoria.
TRV have pretty much the whole of Statewide Stampede have had the support of all the different leagues because we all want them to achieve stuff.
Exactly.
We all want skaters to have that ability to skate.
Exactly.
And compete and have a chance to learn.
Exactly. And we have a Big Sting who had flown out for a lead jam and called off the jam just as quickly.
And we also have Nels picking up 4 points there, actually picking up an extra point in Beaskin. But Geelong is going to have a very, very short pack out there. They have 2 blockers in the penalty box at the moment. They're Pivot, Hailskate, and Hypodermic in their debut game. However, the 2 that they have sent out to block, Melonhead and Dakota Blocking, have been stalwarts of the league for so long.
Well-established blockers.
But there's only so much you can do against Dolly when Dolly is on fire, and Dolly looks to be on fire today. Cycling not too far behind Dolly, and players are starting to return to Geelong to make sure of some numbers. Dolly picking up 4 points, Cycling picking up 4 points.
And we now have an empty penalty box again, which is always a good way to be.
And good timing there from Dolly as they managed to avoid Cyclo picking up any more points. And that was a 5-4 jam. Oh no, 6-4 jam, sorry. The scores now, NeWs is 72, Geelong is 48. Just starting to get a little bit of a hold on this game in terms of building that differential. But these things like, no, I'm not going to let you get too far in front of us. Getting out, picking up lead, temper tantrum, almost through. Don't feel that bit by the blocker, and then the cavalry.
Some amazing toe stop work there.
It's always the situation where I'm almost out. Oh no, they held me up just enough for everyone to get in front of me. Both jammers are neck and neck with each other. Okay, how do we go with that? Oh, absolutely phenomenal timing there with that call off from Beastie. Ignoring what the bench was actually directing her to do. Delaying that little bit of a call off there. Picking up 2 points. Realised the position of the pack was in their favour. So hit the pack, picked up 2 points, pulled it off. No score. No. Cyclone.
All right. Cyclone has a lead, and Hells Bells is coming.
Nels Bells.
Hells Bells. All these plays are words. I must admit, I love derby names and I love team names. One of my favourites is Ward from WA because they're like Western Australian Roller Derby.
Lords of the Skate.
Lords of the Skate. That was I just loved that the first time I was.
The only reason I was correct in that is because we do actually have the Hells Bells, but they're playing for the opposite team. So was it Nels Bells and Hells Bells? We've got Beastie and Beastie.
I think the other, I know I've commented games and we've had 2-2, 2-2-2.
Officiating in those situations is always a pain. And picking up lead there very quickly.
Dolly, yep. And Dolly
is out on their audition, which is nice. Okay, Jan has been called off, but I also know there was a couple of signals there, so I'm just wondering who picked up that penalty. That was a 2-point jam for Geelong. So I made a comment just before that, NeWs are starting to really get that differential zone in their favour. And as you said earlier on, look at it. We're now back to just 12 points the difference. Okay. 2 minutes in Derby is a very long time.
Exactly. It really is.
We have another late penalty being assigned, so that one has to.
And so this time we have Temper Tantrum out in league, chased down by Beastie for Geelong. Okay. Another short, sharp, quick jam.
Yeah. And that was very much a situation of the line was open. I saw the line. I'm taking the line. I'm falling.
Exactly.
Pancakes just letting the team know that there was a bit of a track maintenance needed. Mish is out there making sure everyone is safe. Frank with the 5-second call. Mish going, no, please don't. Official timeout.
Well, that's a good rate. It's good that we can have official timeouts to do the track maintenance and things like that. Yeah, because there's nothing worse than tape lifting and a skater skating as a team tape lifts.
And you don't want someone to get caught on the road.
No.
We do love Statewide Sports Plus, but we don't actually want them to have to work.
Yeah, exactly. We want them to be bored. We want them to be doing anything other than patching us together. And Cyclo has leaped out for me.
good awareness to do the call off on their knees after hitting the ground. It's one of those situations, not being aware of where the jammer was between, I'm calling this off just to be safe and having it work in your favour. Another official timeout. Again, some more track maintenance. As the day goes on, this is probably going to happen a bit more.
As it warms up, because I know when we've had some tournaments down in Melbourne that we have either the track lifting because it's too hot or then the track sticking too well because it's so cold. There's no happy medium. But no, we are very lucky though that we have a sport that, we find a flat surface and we can play.
I also will say I appreciate the fact that Geelong has actually shifted the track slightly down this year, because the rep lane is now basically, with this track, there is a spot that is historically known for you getting a little bit icy slipping out. They've actually moved it so it's actually the ref lane that's in that situation and not the track. So players are actually being able to stay on their feet a lot more than what usually happens on this one.
And you'll also find, because you often find at venues there is that one spot. I know last round at Bendigo there was that one spot.
Yeah. Comment
All right.
has been made of taped in my favourite colour. Yes.
Yes.
Definitely. I do appreciate a purple tape.
I appreciate anything purple, especially Cadbury's. No cash for comments, but yes. I had to laugh when they went to court to protect the Cadbury's purple.
Okay. Scores currently 80-62. Avalanche lining up for Geelong. Temper Tantrum out for breaking news again.
And we are just under 4 minutes left in this first half. Then we will have a 15-minute intermission and then we'll be back. And Avalanche has come out so quickly there.
That really was a very, very quick lead.
Very quick.
Temper Tantrum now out on their initial.
Oh, and that was some great defence there by Hypodermic, creating a path for Avalanche.
I just love how much Mick towers over everyone else.
Yeah.
Like Candy, Slenderdan, and Mick.
And Zap. Zap's also very tall and towers over everyone.
It's just like when they're out on skates, it's the three of them just towering over everyone.
I think at the first ACC, I was jam timing one of the men's games, and I'm just standing there and always talking. Like,
Cycling with lead over Mel's Bells.
And like they were all wanting to be near feeling like, I feel a bit small here. Okay, and so that was another quick jam there.
Both of those jammers are extremely quick on their feet. Later.
It'll be interesting because NeWs is a new alliance this year, and it'll be interesting to see how they're developing. I mean, they're doing extremely well, but being a mashup, it'll be interesting to see because they're starting to get to know each other's gameplay as well.
So while they are a mashup, it is actually a very, very established core group. So the nerd skaters have worked with each other for years.
Yeah.
So they are people who have that core group, and then you've got the skaters who are coming up at Westside, and Westside being such a strong team, of course, their up and comers are also a very, very strong team. So it's these two very established groups working together.
And that can actually go one of two ways. But this is merging perfectly.
It's kind of, you've got your mentors, but you've also got your new shiny, splashy, speedy ones coming through as well.
All right. So we have Temper Tantrum and Avalanche. And Tempe has just achieved the lead.
Avalanche has been held there by Jackrabbit in the back.
And then recycled back to back at back.
Jackrabbit being, of course, someone who we watched come up through ModCon over the years, and now being a very, very established part of the nerd team.
And I'm looking forward to seeing Safeway. I missed them last round when they were at Denton.
I just love the colour scheme.
Well, there's that too.
It's one of those. The mashup works really well for my colour scheme.
And like the fact that like southeast and like South Sea,
Yeah.
and then you got salty beaches, so it's very much a water. And of course we've got Gippsland Rangers, but like it just masses so well.
Do you realise that it's half time?
It is.
It is half time.
All righty. Well, we will be back in about 15 minutes to bring you the remainder of this game. So go grab some food, grab a drink, spend some money at the merch, and we'll be back soon.
After it, then I receive it. I am me. I am everything. Skimming by.
It's my call out. Pocahontas, you think I'm loco, you think I'm crazy. Matahuaca, Pocahontas, heads are turning one by one. What have you done? Matahuaca, Pocahontas, purple goddess, got me wearing crystals. You think I'm loco? Maybe un poco. Heads are burning one
Okay, we have just over 30 seconds, just under 30 seconds remaining of this half time. Welcome on back, Sparks.
Oh, welcome back, Judy Dench. We are about to commence our second half here. We have a scoreline of News on 87 and Geelong on 66. So this is going to be a close match, I think, all the way through to the final rolling whistle. And then after that, we have another game. We've still got two more games, but the game coming up immediately after this one will be a Dragon City versus Kingston City. And that'll be a really good one because both of those teams are playing in Division 2 at TGSS. So this is kind of like a strategizing game.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So who do we have jamming? I believe
That is Dolly and Beastin, and we have Hale Skating in the penalty box starting off for Geelong.
at least we do let our players out of the penalty box over half time.
It would be amusing if we didn't, but no, that's too harsh.
Yeah, I know. But Beasting has flown through and found a space to obtain lead. And I've just decided, I've just seen Bruiser's shorts. I want them. You know, they've got pink and pretty and
So that was a quick call off, but both jammers picking up points. 1 point to Dolly, 4 points to Beastin. 10 for Tantrum is lining up for News, and it looks like Avalanche.
and it's still a very close game.
Oh, okay. We just had the jam pulled off. Basically, at that stage, Avalanche was not in position when the jam started, so this should technically be a penalty being assigned, and it looks like Melon is taking the captain's penalty for Geelong. So in this situation, because there was not a jammer and they had to stop the jam, it is a delay of game penalty, which is a captain's penalty. But, you know, at the same time, it does allow for a jammer to be fielded instead of it being a power jam.
Yes, exactly. So we have, and not your darling, has come out lovely. And we have,
No,
And-
that was tempting.
Oh.
Yeah, you missed the 4. So Not Your Darling is 33 and Tantrum is 433.
I was going on the scoreboard. But that's okay.
Well,
Because I'll be
So-
seeing numbers in my sleep tonight.
the whole thing still remains the 4 was missed, and that's why it was the wrong person
It's
being displayed. It goes back to that whole comment earlier about the 2-2 and all that kind of stuff when you're trying to commentate or
Yeah,
video,
exactly.
when you have multiple similar numbers.
And then when you get that identity and someone else has similar, like the shorts or whatever, because you look for differences, so you know who you're calling.
Because it sometimes is, yeah, okay, well, what the helmet looks like, but when they're a jammer or a pivot, you can't see the helmet. So you've got to try and find something else that you can use as your identifying marker. We have Beasting, we have Dolly. We have, it looks like Pancakes, Rock, and Hale Skating out there with Jackie Ono in the penalty box for Geelong. And that looks like a Jack Rabbit,
And yeah,
Roll Power. Who else is out there? Nuclear Force out. What's that last block?
we got
With the silver helmet. Oh no, that was Nuclear Force out. So 501.
Darth Vader.
See, if I saw them face on, I would have known who it was, but I was just looking at the number going, I don't recognise this number yet.
We were talking earlier in the first game about how because we all have our derby names and our derby personas, and you go out into the real world and people say, "Oh, dear, my friend Sally plays roller derby. Do you know them?" And you're like, don't know any Sally, but do you know their derby name? And they look like you've got two heads. All right. So Cyclo is out in the lead for Geelong.
That was a 4-point jam to Geelong, bringing it to within 21 points, 97 to 76.
It looks like we will have Nell's bell. Oh, no.
Late switch. It looks like there might be a late penalty being assigned because I just noticed Killer Kills going over to the NeWs bench. And yes, it looks like it was a late penalty for Vivian Oblivion as pivot. So Dolly up against the Cyclo.
All right. So we have Nell's bells and Cyclone. And Cyclone has come through.
Penalty being picked up by Evader. Both Melonhead and Vivian Oblivion being returned from the penalty box.
And Mick went for a very elegant tumble then. I think that's one of the things in our sport is if we take a tumble, you've got to do it in style. Okay, so we are in an official timeout at the moment. Just giving our skaters a chance to catch their breath. All right, and with that, we've heard the rolling whistle, which means that we will be recommencing. So we have Beasting, who has literally flown out to obtain lead, going up against Nell's Bells, who was just given an almighty shove off the track by Help Skated, requiring a recycle with back and pack. And with that, Beasting has just called that jam. So it was a handy 4 points to 0, which is now a 19-point game. All right, so we have Avalanche coming out. There's a bit of a big pile up down on track 1. It appears to be turn 1 seems to be the slippy point of this track today. But at 1.0, we are still keeping the same point differential. News is on 100 points and Geelong on 81. This is a very tightly fought game because both packs are doing incredible work in not just holding the opposing jammer up, but doing so in a way that forms a space for their players. And Jolly has jumped out for lead, and she leading against Beastie, who's been held up. And with that, Jolly has called off our Jan. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, we have our wonderful Jen from Australian Sports Connection, but we also have some really amazing photographers here who make us look, well, better than we actually are. Oh, well, better than I actually am. And that is we have Hawkeye from RXA Photography, and we also have Brett from Crossroads Media. We are very fortunate to have such talented photographers give up their time to come and film our sport.
And as you said, always makes us look good.
Always makes us look good. I think I said to Hawkeye once, I don't like photos being taken of me, but I like the ones you do.
Mm-hmm. I've been through that in the past.
So, and it's great to have such amazing action shots too. I love looking through the galleries after a round.
Well, I know this year Hawkeye is doing a bit more of an experimental style
Yeah.
than they usually do. So it's been amazing seeing those photos come out and just see, oh, that's an interesting framing and all that kind of stuff. Like, this is really cool look and everything.
And this is coming on the back of the book.
Exactly. The book was incredible. Something I never thought we would have. But not only was it a passion project, and I want to do portrait photography, but it actually got such love across all of Australia.
Exactly, at all the major tournaments. And it's the like the, the, the selected photos just are that person.
Exactly.
There are some that you just think, wow.
And it is very much, it looks like we do have a potential official review being called, so I'm
All right.
have a little sticky.
All right. And it looks like we have an official review happening. And my lovely friend to my right is going to find out exactly what it's about. Now, for those of you who aren't here and are watching from home, still have time. We still have 2 more games today. We have Kingston City Rollers going up against Dragon City Rollers. And then we have the Southeast Alliance, who have a beautiful name in that they are called Sea, and they will be going up against Team Regional Victoria. So, and both of those teams are match-up teams. Southeastern Alliance is a grouping of South Sea Roller Derby. They're Krakens, which is their C team. Also Gippsland Rangers Roller Derby, and a new league this year, which is Salty Beaches, and they are down at Bairnsdale. So we have some, so that, and then Team TRV are basically players from all over the state, and often they will have Rockabellas joining them, and Rockabellas are a South Australian team who will often they often have sort of like inter-house games with Mildura, and as such get to come and play with us sometimes. And so they're the officials. And after our sorry. All right, so we have 2 more games today. After that, tomorrow we will be back and we will have another 5 games. So there is still so much more derby to be watched and to be seen. We will be here from 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, having fun. All right. And it looks like I am going to be able to find out what the goss is. Alrighty.
Okay, so that was Geelong looking for a penalty against the jammer right at the start of the jam in regards to the getting out of the pack. They were after a forearms penalty on the NeWs jammer, basically for using their own jammer to maintain position on track to pick up lead. The decision was given as they actually went out of bounds. There was no impact from the movement because no advantage had been gained, so no penalty stands.
All right. Yes, it's one like we were talking in one of the earlier games saying that if there are official reviews, you get one per half, and it's tricky to know when to call it because if you're unsuccessful, you lose it, and if you are successful, you get to keep it. But it's always that, oh,
When do you use it? What's the right timing? As a bench coach myself, I generally go, if it is something that I'm pretty certain was obvious and most people would have had their eyes on, yeah, I'll fall for it.
Yeah.
Because that is the one that is most likely to be upheld, and therefore I get a second one. But if it's one of those dicey ones where it was, not necessarily going to impact our jammer rotation or potentially give us an advantage, I'm like, do I really have to use it?
yeah, I think that, and that's like some of the tactical. I know people when they find out I'm involved with roller derby, and then they look it up online and they say, well, it's just a bunch of people rolling around bashing into each other. I was like, well, yeah, it might seem like that, but it's the tactics
Lots of stress.
just so, and it's when you see some teams that have been playing as a team for a very long time.
Exactly.
It's just it literally is. It's like a chess game, and they know where to position themselves, and the jammer just knows that they're playing. The blockers are going to be there, and so we have howls about kitty kaboom. No, how's
We've got nail spell
Nail spells,
as jam.
yeah, now spells as jammer
We have
because
avalanche.
they've got kitty kaboom up there, so that's why I was getting confused. And avalanche.
Avalanche with star in hand. Money can get out on their initial. I cannot explain why that one is incorrect purely because the numbers do not have any remote alignment, and Kitty is unfortunately not playing today.
No. It could be just a wrong tick on the box.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where we have each role having so much information and needing to do so much that sometimes you just accidentally hit the wrong thing.
Exactly.
And there are times where no one will notice anything until you pull it out, and it's like, oh,
yeah.
okay, if I didn't say nothing, no one would have known.
It's like, when you see someone with their, with a button undone or something like that, and you're like, do I say?
Do I tell them they've got spinach in their teeth or no? Being seen adding 10%.
Whoa. And that was a great defense there by Nuclear Force Out.
Not only was it great defense, it actually picked up a pair from on Beastin. Beastin not lead, being called for a forearms penalty. Unfortunately, we mentioned before about taking the helmet cover off too quickly when in these situations. 10th Contention actually had taken the helmet cover off, so this is a 2-minute jam.
Oh, this is going to be good.
We have no lead jammer in this situation. Melonhead doing well to slow down Tim Tantra. Unable to pick up there to help brace them, and Tim Tantra gets through on the scoring last. Beasting is back on track. And out on their initial now. We have one blocker, 4 NeWs hitting the penalty box at the moment. So
And you feel for that recycled beasting quite far back in that little bit of a recycle.
I was just checking the clock because it's like, are they going to get it out in time since there is no lead jammer? And yes, the blocker will actually be able to come back out. However, unfortunately, Melonhead has picked up a penalty for Geelong, and they will not be able to get out before the end of the game. So both jammers scoring. We are currently okay. Jam came to its natural conclusion. I was just about to say, we are currently 12 to
And
8.
the skaters are going, oh, thank you.
Yeah, so that was a 12 to 8 jam with NeWs picking up
It's still only 22 points.
Mhm.
Like, this differential,
32.
32. Yeah, okay, I work in school.
Don't say that, no one knows. Cyclo and
Must be a
Dolly.
race why I get to look after the chickens.
Cyclo picking up lead.
And Dolly working through the pack.
Dakota Blocker making it very difficult for Dolly. Dolly out on the initial. Viv with the long drawback on Cyclo. Both jammers trying to take the outside line. Cyclo more successfully as they move in front. And Dolly switching to the inside and then getting out of their scoring pass.
I like the way both packs are forming.
You start to see a little bit of the strategy in where they're positioning themselves.
Okay, so we have some more track work happening.
Being wonderfully done by the amazing Mad Pixie. Stylish as always.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And I'm jealous of those boots, they're purple.
Oh, if I remember, I'll wear my I have not quite your hair color purple suede boots. They are my, and the irony is, like, I took my mum to a funeral, as you do, because, you know, she doesn't drive a lot. And it was for someone who really loved shoes. And I take my mum shopping after funerals just to show her pretty things and get distracted. And she went into the shoe shop. It was not my fault. And then I've picked up the boots and she's gone, you already have boots. And I know, but I don't have these boots.
That is often my issue. And I end up in shops that I would normally try and avoid just because I don't actually need anything. I walk in and go, but they're in this colour.
I know. And then my mum's saying, you've got too many boots. And I go, well, you know who'd want me to have the boots. All right. So we are going to take a bit of a break here.
Yeah.
And we will be back soon.
I'm just going to make a little bit of amusement from that situation. Just purely hypodermic. Realised they had made an oopsie. Put their hands up and went, yeah, I'm calling myself a penalty rather than being called a penalty.
Take the skater out of the ref pool, but you can't take the ref out of the skater.
Exactly. So we'll just have a moment here, making sure everyone is okay.
So I turned around to my mum and said, well, you know you'd want me to have the boots. And she's just thrown her hands up and gone, I give up. Gee, she bought a pair of shoes again too.
Yeah, but it's your fault for taking me in here.
Exactly. I must admit, I like my boots.
Hang on a second. Okay, with players going back to their benches and skaters starting to get back, no, I should say the officials starting to get back into position. We will be resuming shortly. Uh, we will say that the injured skater has been checked out and we will be getting things underway. Uh, they're still in the process of being checked, so I believe they're okay, but we don't know for certain in terms of if there was anything additional afterwards. But it does seem like they're all okay, so we're getting the game underway again now that we've got our first aiders back in position as well.
And we also had a bit of track maintenance, a few little things happening there and there. So we have Tempe Tantrum and Beastie. Yeah, sometimes I think probably the players are a bit glad and a bit about it.
With it being a close game like this, yeah, having an extra breathing space would probably have been appreciated, but at the same time, you're going to go, ooh, have I cooled down too much now? And it's going to take me a little while to get back into this.
At that middle of the second half ache. Like I know people that do a lot of, they do running and things like that. And I say, how can you do it? And they say, it only hurts when you stop.
Yeah.
And they just get into that rhythm.
I'm just going to point out here, we've actually had a cut track called on Tempe Tantrum, so it's beasting now on a power jam for Geelong.
Okay, and that means that we're going to have a full 2-minute jam too.
It's a 2-minute jam, and Geelong needed a chance to have a couple of points put up unopposed. So they're definitely not going to complain about this situation. Because if you're able to put up points while the other team isn't,
But
wait, always a nice thing.
it always is a nice thing.
Tempe Tantrum back on track, hitting the pack.
And the Geelong Pack's doing some amazing work in holding Temper Tantrum up.
This is a reasonably newish pack in terms of experience, but they've been headed up by their pivot, Dakota Locker, who is actually a very, very experienced skater for Geelong. So doing a lot of work, keeping everyone together, keeping you settled and all that side of things.
And I think it shows in when you can have a lot of new skaters or a young team, but if you've got leadership on track,
Exactly.
that because they're right in your ear, in some cases more so than your bench. Like your bench coach is doing amazing, but sometimes it's just having that someone on the track to kind of, point or say something. Oh, pardon me. We've got just over 12 minutes left in this second half of the game. And we have Dolly who has left out to obtain lead for NeWs, holding up, and the pack is holding up Avalanche really, really tightly. It's hearing that turn 1 is being a bit of the sticky spot.
So normally on this track, it's turn 2 is very, very slidey, very like almost icy, kind of coming through, and you slip out a lot. That's where a lot of the falls happen. We have seen a couple of falls there, but as you said, it's actually turn 1 that's holding its grip this time.
This is the time of the game where all the skaters are really hurting.
Especially since, pretty much all of them just back from having an extended break. Due to no fault of their own, really. It's derby, injuries do occur.
Yeah.
As much as we try not to have injuries, realistically speaking, people are on skates, which means your balance is slightly off already, and we allow people to basically hit each other. So,
So, but then when you look at footballers and other mainstream sports, they have a lot of injuries as well.
I'm just going to quickly mute myself because I want to make them aware of a track maintenance issue in this time out.
All right.
I'll let them know later. Oh no, hang on, they're still talking.
So, what teams are these? Are these?
Oh, that's going to be an interesting.
Is this regionals?
Yeah,
Which ones?
one of them.
Are they good teams? Alrighty, and we are back. And we're into the last 10 minutes. Had a couple of track repairs there, and we have Jackrabbit and Cyclo. And Cyclo has flown out to obtain lead with Jackrabbit coming. Some amazing skating there. And the Geelong pack is just really tightened up. And another awesome. The way the pack just kind of forced the other jammer across to allow their skater through. That was beautifully done.
Jackrabbit out, picking up points. I do like that they switched Jackrabbit into Jam. Jack's got a very, very explosive jammer style, so I do like getting to see them.
Yes.
But it's one of those things where Jack is a very, very talented skater, so it's like, do we use them as a blocker? Do we use them as a jammer when we've got such a deep jammer rotation? But they're kind of like NeWs is kind of in that position with a number of their skaters because like Dolly blocks and jams and everything. So it's like I can understand focusing on one rather than the other. But you know, it's also nice to see them going out and jamming.
I think it also adds that element of surprise.
Exactly.
At the same jammer rotation, you kind of in opposition kind of think, yeah, well, this is what's going to happen. And then when they put a new one out or one that haven't been in a lot, it's like, oh.
Jam called off. I will say beautiful communication from the OPR through to the jam ref, just indicating what was going on, as it was a newer jammer ref, and B, the outside pack ref was in the better position to see what was happening, so making sure everything was safe and that they knew everything is all good.
I'm just looking at our penalties. Got a couple on a few fairly high. All right, so we have Dolly and Avalanche, and Dolly has come out. We've got two bike packs here at the moment. Dakota Walker just. Oh.
unfortunate situation of the jam rabbit hitting the ground as they were trying to call a penalty. But thankfully, head ref Candy knew what was going on, so Dolly going to serve a penalty.
Which means that when play commences, Geelong will be having a power jam.
Exactly. So, well, we've got a little stoppage at the moment, as you were saying. A couple of skaters in a bit of penalty trouble, although for some of them, they're a little bit high, but not a lot of time left for them. So, for the most part, for NeWs, it's actually their debut skaters, not your darling getting on 5 there. But again, this is a situation where Statewide Stampede is here for development. So
It certainly
they
is.
are learning what they can and cannot do. So, I'm not saying it's, they're a new skater, obviously this is bad. No, it's a situation where they're just learning how to adjust either their strength, their speed, their skill to understand how it works at a full contact game.
Exactly.
And then for Geelong, a little bit more of a penalty trouble for players, although I do know that Hale skating due to injury is now on the sideline. I believe they were being checked a little bit earlier on. So they have ruled themselves out already. And then we've got Melon Head and Vivian Oblivion 75 there.
Alrighty, and we are about to recommence play. We're just over 7 minutes left in this game. It is a power jam because as that jam was ending, Dolly was sent to the penalty. So Cyclo has come through and obtained lead, and that's a handy lead to obtain.
Again, I'm just going to point out that the experience and the knowledge of when to do stuff that Dakota is showing out there
Incredible.
in this pack, they were right at the back of the engaging zone. They communicated to the blockers to stop, to hold, and allow Cyclo to take it on their own to ensure that Cyclo had the best advantage to punch through and not have the pack come and reform in front.
And not have to slow down. It was
Exactly.
sort of like, and I've noticed that a couple of times with the Geelong pack, that when their jammer is coming, they just have this ability to, it's kind of like a wave.
Yeah. And, again, that's where it's having an experienced person out there with a newer pack is a brilliant thing, because so often it's like, we've got to get our jammer through, and that might not actually be what the jammer needs. They just need someone to go, actually, stop, wait, they will do it. We just need to support them by making sure the pack is back.
Exactly.
Jack Rabbit picking up lead here, showing why I am excited that they actually have come back through the jammer rotation formula.
And Avalanche is jamming for Geelong. And the gap has really closed up again. Like it's 16 points again. And this has been a really tight game. The whole time.
Beautiful outside to in sweep by the Geelong players there for Avalanche to pick up points. It looks like NeWs has decided to run this down a little bit, possibly to get a blocker out of the penalty box.
So we've got a 20-point game with just over 4 minutes left.
And it is now a power jam situation with Jack Rabbit as
The Melonhead's doing some amazing trying to hold up
and
Jack Rabbit.
that power jam was actually caused by Vivian Oblivion. been aware of the fact that they were out in front when Avalanche got knocked out and threw themselves back, kind of like Kingston does often, putting themselves in that position where Avalanche didn't realise that the skater who they had to pass had coming behind, so cut in front of them.
Yeah, it's very, as we've said more than once, very strategic.
And again, this is from having that experience, that
Exactly.
being around for so long kind of thing. You know, it's that mentorship that is benefiting this mashup.
Exactly. And because also, not so much in this lineup, but so many of our players are assistants as well.
Yep.
So they've got a really deep understanding of the game.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's also just, it's a good learning experience for newer skaters, having that kind of situation occur. Because you know Avalanche is going to go back and watch and go, oh, that's why I got that penalty. I need to make sure next time.
Yeah, exactly.
If I don't realise if I have passed everyone, I need to reset.
And that's just something that comes, and
I mean, even at the higher levels, you do see that kind of thing happen because you'll focus on so much more that you don't necessarily see that one person just go, oh, let's flip back.
and because you're focusing on sort of immediately in front and side to side.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of means what keeps you on your feet, which we really need to do.
Exactly. Temper tantrum. Been a lot of fun out there.
And there's a bit of pivot on pivot here.
Well, technically, Jammer, because the Dakota Gawker has taken the start, just not on their head.
All right. Well, then that was a really good. So that was a star pass.
And that was really good awareness by Hughes that the star had been passed into him, and she blocked the pivot even though the star wasn't on their head.
Yes. You know, I know we talk a lot about the jammer and, pushing through and the star on the head. And what we sometimes don't mention is how vital a good pivot is. Like they are like the bridge.
Except for don't use the word bridge because that's a different purpose in Derby. Keeping the pack together.
Okay, well, yes, but they're just like
They're the glue.
they're the glue. Yeah.
Dolly picking up lead there. Cyclo up against Viv as last blocker. Viv doing their hardest but going out as well as Cyclo, so pushing it to the limits of where they can extend out to, picking up an out of play penalty.
All right.
But there was very much a cheeky smile on their face, but I know exactly what I've done. I don't disagree. Oopsie, but worth it.
I was like before with Nick going, I'll call my.
I'll take myself off. I don't need you to blow the whistle saying Nipsey. I did Nipsey. So currently 2:02 to 1:63. We have a timeout and 41 seconds left on the period clock.
Oh,
Just on that, because this game has had a lot of stoppages, I do believe that the next game will be starting late to allow the teams to have adequate warm-up period.
right. Yep.
I believe it showed on stream earlier that it's been pushed back to a 1/4 start time.
Okay, so that would be 3:15 instead of 3.
Yeah.
Which, and in Derby, that's not a big stoppage.
No. You know, if things run on time, but it is Derby, so me saying this is probably going to jinx it. We can claw it back a little bit, but, at the end of the day, it is better for the teams to have adequate warm-up period and space between, especially for refs and officials who are doing back-to-back-to-back,
Yeah, exactly.
to have that appropriate break space.
Exactly, because we can't play without our officials, and also we don't, if you haven't warmed up properly, that's when injuries happen. Like,
That's when no stoppages happen because you're going to stop for injuries.
yeah, so
I appreciate the fact that at Statewide Stampede we are all in situations like this and are willing to have that little bit of a break, push out instead of trying to force the issue.
And I suppose I've got a little bit of playroom, like unlike TGSS.
Okay. We've had a little bit of a confusion there going on. So Jack River was awarded the lead, however, they actually had cut. The chain of official communication did not quite reach Zarantula until Jack Rabbit was pretty much back to the pack. They are not lead. They have not cast their initial. It is be seen as lead jammer. So the penalty is actually when they got out of the pack originally, which is why I'm saying they have not got their initial. However, I am not the ref. I'm not the jam ref. They might be given that initial pass kind of thing.
All right, so this has been an amazing game to watch, I must admit.
Well, Feasting's already picked up 12 points in this jam. So
And this is the final jam.
exactly. Feasting was doing everything they could to pick up some points there, but they're also going, I'm tired, I'm falling this off.
And that is perfectly understandable because they have worked amazingly hard.
They have done nearly 1 in 2 for the whole game as a jammer. Yes, I know they are fit. Yes, I know they have endurance, but that is still a lot of work
It's-
to be doing.
It is.
So we're currently sitting at the unofficial score of 202 for NeWs, 175 for Geelong. We've just got the refs and officials double checking everything out.
Crossing the I's and dotting the T's.
Yep, and so we'll just wait for Rexy to do the rolling whistle once the go-ahead is given.
All righty, so you're going to go and get ready for your team's game.
But we still have,
Kingston
before
City.
then,
We have Kingston City Rollers going up against Dragon City. So this is an interesting matchup.
and I will be watching because we play Kingston tomorrow.
Ah. So,
I'll be doing a little bit of scubbing out. Then again, you do have a pretty standard lineup in terms of a lot of skill. So I already know where the problems are first. Correct.
yeah, but you guys have got a good depth as
Oh,
well.
we've got a lot of new and a lot of experience. And as you said, that whole mentorship of giving that availability to people who don't normally get to skate, I'm
Exactly.
very proud of City. It is a lot of work having a match-up team and spending with people you don't skate with regularly. But they're doing.
It's going to be interesting because today's game you're playing TRV.
So we're in a similar situation.
You're all mashups.
Yeah.
It'll be a great one to watch.
I will put it that we are kind of in a little bit of a better position in terms of we actually can train groups together,
Yes.
whereas TRV being from all over Victoria, we don't quite have that flexibility. So,
No.
yeah,
Anyway, well, it's been lovely chatting with you, and I'll no doubt I'll be chatting with you tomorrow
exactly.
because what else is there but derby on the weekend?
Exactly.
No idea of the footy scores, but I can tell you the derby scores.
So final score, NeWs with the win, 202, Geelong 175. I've been Judy Bench.
And I'm Sparks, and this has been game 3 of 5. And I will be sticking around because I will be getting to talk to you in the next game, which will be tricky, but I can do it. All right.
Tell me what you're thinking, give me what you're drinking.